Welcome to Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Oh, for a die Guam, here that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya to man, everybody has one. No whoosh on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it unfiltered. Guam sauce for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to 2 months, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang, strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Hafa Hour, Guam.
It took just 24 hours for us to lose control of the city. Tonight, anything here? Gotham's relying on
exactly what happened.
We were outside the outlets when someone tried to...
Under these statutes, you don't have the authority.
Binge.
Responsible gun ownership is the law. Coming from that appellate.
Now, before they realize what we know.
I understand the.
I'll make you proud, Grandma. Promise. That's better. Okay, we're done.
The property lines.
Sir, please wait here.
I need you to stay by the car.
Okay, I got it.
Just tell me what happened.
Has been breached. Confirmed reports of multiple attacks in the capital.
Please, we're now in a state of alert.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all.
It's your record. I cannot get it out in the mail tonight.
Concentrated power of will. 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100%
Come on in.
Yes. But I didn't.
Details emerging of a major political scandal shaking the island.
But I didn't expect it here. Where else would it be?
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I said it, we are. This is Friday.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
A few moments later. each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Good morning, everybody. It's April 26, 2026, and we're here at Just Pirates Cove in beautiful Ipan Telefofo, Guam, USA. Episode 40, Season 2. We got some great guests here for you today, and we're going to have a great time talking to them. By the way, Mother's Day is coming up, and we have a great buffet for you lined up. Please be watching our Facebook for that. So first, Ray's here, Dave's here, Will's here, and the doc is here, okay? And first one we're going to talk to today is Dave Sablan, my friend from long time ago, an advocate for many great, interesting things for Guam. So Dave, tell us a little about yourself, okay?
Okay, well, I've been a businessman on the island for more than 50 years already. Started my career with Atkins Kroll in the automobile business, then I switched over to the commercial division, selling hotel and restaurant supplies. Did that for about, total career at Atkins Kroll was about 14 years, and then I moved to Baba Corporation, entered the tourism industry. And actually, when I was with AK, when I was doing the hotel and restaurant supply, I was also a member of the Guam Contractors Association.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm not even a contractor, I'm not an engineer of any sort, but I was the president actually of the Contractors Association. And so ran it for several years. And then when I was with Baba, I was in the tourism industry, so I served on the Guam Visitors Bureau board as well. And in early Atkins Kroll, I was also chairman of the Guam Power Authority back in the late 80s into the early 90s. So I did a lot of that. Actually, I counted all these different commissions and boards that I served. There's like 13 of them. So I think I better retire. But when I was with Gura, they wanted to put me in jail, you know, and I had to fight that in court. And I won. So
why did they want to put you in jail?
Well, you know, they were saying that I was corrupt in giving contracts to people that were friends of mine, because we have a program at Gura where we can actually build housing for people that you know, need help financially. And so we were giving what we call the low-income housing tax credit program.
Yeah.
So we were giving all these contracts away. I mean, we followed exactly what is required. But there were some people that probably didn't like me and wanted to, you know, put me under the bus, so to speak. But I didn't allow that. I took them to court. I beat them. I mean, I was charged with something like around almost 30 counts of fraudulent activities.
They spent a lot of money to go after you.
Yeah, but then I went back to Gura and I said, you got to pay me back, because all of this happened when I was the chairman, and we have an insurance policy that allows me to be paid if anybody, you know, they call it errors and omissions.
Yep.
So they paid
the bank too.
Yeah, so they paid me back. So, you know, everything's settled, and that was the last government board that I served on. I said I better retire, you know, which I did. But then I do a lot of work for companies out of Japan who are involved in the military buildup here, selling a lot of steel products. And so I take care of them, make sure that they know how to deal with the American contractors. Because when you go into a meeting with these American contractors, they talk very quickly, and the Japanese unfortunately cannot understand what they're saying, so they depend on me. So after we have the meeting, I take them over to the hotel lobby and I explain everything that occurred during that meeting. And then, you know, they understand, and then when they're going to write to them, the Japanese have a certain way of, if you're a very high level company in terms of sales, and you're dealing with a smaller company, you can really push them. But I said, it doesn't work that way. Everyone, small, big, or whatever, in the American system of business, everyone is an important customer. And so how do we deal with these companies, Dave? And I said, you just deal with them as if you were an American company, you know, equal, but they're going to buy something from you, so they're always right, you know, and make it work for you. So I advised them in that, and you know, they're very successful.
That's good to hear. So today we're going to talk about waste to energy.
Okay, that's another thing I used to do. I still do, actually.
And what do you think now we should do for Guam? I mean, there's somebody here now talking about waste to energy, right?
Exactly. In fact, I talked to Ray a couple
Just the other
days
day.
ago. Yeah. And I said, you know, why did it take for somebody from outside to come and say everything that I said over the years, and then now we're going to work on it, or maybe consider it?
Well, I think when you were doing it, which was way back when, there was too much politics involved, and people couldn't digest that, and they didn't feel that we were going to come out all right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, I was hired back in 2006, was it, to try to promote it because it was a new technology. Nobody was.
I think it's great, really.
It is. We burn our trash. Many of us, you know, burn our trash in the backyard, right? We try to avoid, of course, EPA looking at the smoke, but we do that. So a lot of the people at Guam fully understand how it works. The thing is that when you're doing it as a commercial operation, then of course you got to consider all these regulations with the EPA, and you know there are people that are involved in that industry, so you can certainly bring them in. We're an island, and what made me support this project is the fact that when I was chairman of the Guam Power Authority, I went to Japan and I saw how an incineration waste to energy operation worked in Fujiyama City. And it was a building right smack in the middle of the city, and the trucks would go in the back. They would dump it into a pit. I stood over this pit. I couldn't smell anything because there were you know, some holes in the wall that pulled all this smelly air and wrapped it around the incinerator and killed all the bacteria, and then took that hot air and sent it over to a botanical garden and a swimming pool in the city. So, you know, I looked at that and said, well, this will work for Guam. Now, I was with actually, at that time, the late Senator Joe San Augustine was with me. Senator John Parkinson was with me. And we sat in a hotel meeting room, and Senator San Augustine advised me, because I was chairman of the Guam Power Authority at the time. He said, you don't want to push the electricity part. And he was correct. Push the trash part. You know, that this is going to take care of the trash situation because we live on an island. Don't push the electricity because you're going to have a lot of problems with that. And he was absolutely right, because trash is the issue. Even with the waste energy facility, we're dealing with trash and getting rid of it. And it has nothing to do with the electricity. It's a byproduct. I mean, you can have an incinerator without the electrical aspect, you know, but with us, might as well get as much as we can out of it.
Well, right now, we're hearing that the dam
will get filled up.
Filling, yeah. Especially since the typhoon, there was so much more trash generated that, and I think that's kind of hard to digest. Just keep burying this trash and burying it. If we could
not only
burn
that,
it and find, you know, ways to get rid of these vehicles that way and things like that.
The other thing that we have to be mindful of is that when you put solid waste into a landfill, it's going to be about almost 50 years after it's, you know, you've reached its maximum capability. You have to monitor that for about 50 more years as the trash decomposes, because it produces methane gas. So you got to burn the methane gas as it comes out. Otherwise, it'll, you know, affect the ozone layer of the atmosphere.
Well, the Oda dump itself secreted so many things into the river, and, you know, there's so much problem.
The old Oda dump, exactly. Yeah. Of course, we didn't have an EPA back then when it was open.
No, and it generated a ton of the methane that we never, there's subterranean fires. I don't think we ever put them out.
And the poor people who lived in Orda, Chalampago, you know, got the brunt of that. But we do need on an island, you know, an incineration, because we reduce the solid waste volume by about 90%, which means that you burn 100% of ash, trash, and you get 10% of ash come out of the incineration plant.
Well, I've seen where they make bricks in some places out of the
it can be mixed in with the ash can be mixed in with the asphalt, and you can put it on streets, and then you can also use what we call the fly ash. So as you're burning the waste, some of the ash would fly up, you gather it, you put that into concrete mixtures, and you have really solid concrete. You know, you don't even have to use sand. You can just use that. And I know that for a fact because I sell that. And I bring it in from Asia, and I sell it to the contractors who are involved in mixing concrete, you know, for a lot of the projects.
Would you
and we're
reckon-
talking tons, Jeff,
Yeah.
of that stuff.
You think the people from Japan would come here and set this up for us?
Well, I've signed non-disclosure agreements with a couple of companies already. I can't really disclose too much about that, but they're waiting for the government to honor the contract that was negotiated already. We had to make an amendment on the contract under the Eddie Kawa administration, which we did. But it was ordered by the court, by the way. So the court reviewed the contract, it is valid. Okay, but there was a provision in there dealing with liquidated damages that the court wanted us to clean, otherwise the contract was unenforceable. And so we did call back, the Eddie Kawa administration, and we went into mediation. We cleaned out that provision, but Governor Cowell left office before he could sign the amended agreement. And it was just that one provision of the original contract that was passed or was negotiated in 1996. That's how long ago this whole thing started. Jeez. And then now I'm trying to deal with Governor Leon Guerrero, but unfortunately she's not in favor of a waste-to-energy facility. So I tried.
Any reason why?
I don't think she understands it completely. I think she just doesn't understand, and she's kind of afraid that we're going to pollute the air, the atmosphere. But I've explained to the public that if we do that, then EPA will come in and penalize the company. So we have to put scrubbers, and we have to put a monitor in the smokestack. And if the fumes come out and it exceeds the standards of EPA, the monitors will automatically shut the plant down. So there's no way that it would escape the smokestack, the fumes.
Ideally, where would you place it?
Anywhere, really. Like I said, the one that I saw in Japan was in the middle of the city.
Right.
And because of the fact that you're cleaning the exhaust, through the scrubber system, you can put it in the middle of a gang if you want, make it look like a nice office building, and just make the trucks go to the backyard there.
Taki Island might be the place. Simply put
Actually,
all our crap there anyway.
Doc, I was talking at that time, it was Mayor Melissa Savares in Dedido.
Yeah.
She says, Dave, bring it over here. And
Put it in her backyard.
Yes, because she wanted, there was about 60 people that are going to be employed, on average. And she says, bring it over here. I want my constituents to be employees of your company. So I said, Mayor, if you can find me 15 acres of land, you got it. And it actually makes a lot of sense to build the plant close to where all the trash is generated, so you don't have too far to go. Right now, we're bringing trash from the northern substations.
It goes by here every day.
And we're talking
many
about
trucks.
10 to 15 truckloads going by every day.
And they never fixed the roads. They were supposed to widen the roads, make it safer. Does G4S still escort them?
I'm not sure about that, but initially it was, yeah.
Do they still use diesel? Because that's $10 a gallon.
Yeah.
So everything about it sucks.
Doesn't make sense.
So we're pirates, and you almost got arrested, so you couldn't be an honorary pirate.
I'm an honorary pirate.
We are pirates here because we've all spent some time in jail, including this young man. But one day you will. And one of the credos for pirates is to ask for permission or for forgiveness rather than permission.
That's right.
So basically, you've been doing this for a long time. Apparently,
Right.
you have a court orders that mandates that your company or whoever you're
The contract is valid.
Yes, okay, so yeah, you're doing all things the right way and you still get punished.
Right.
But you are even more impressive in person than you're on ratio. So we have to ask you this, really, right?
Sure.
I mean, I hate to break it to you, but there are at least 2 incinerators already burning on Guam, and he mentioned a third, right?
The hospital?
The hospital has one.
Yeah.
Apparently Nate Berg was bringing in one, and I think his is in the back of his pickup truck, right? I mean, basically, there are people incinerating as we speak.
Right.
In fact, the fire department relaxed the burning, so you could basically do it as long as you don't burn down Guam, right?
Right.
Right now, people are incinerating in their backyards underneath the breadfruit tree. And then he mentioned Ordot Dump. That thing is on fire.
Yeah.
And it still emotes.
It's in court again because they're saying that it was constructed in a way that is now leaking more leachate into the river.
It's supposed to.
We're not talking about the thing in California, which is almost full, right?
Yeah, we're talking the Ordot Dump.
Yeah.
That's
No, I'm not. Yeah, okay, you're talking about Ordot Dump. So that one's on fire. That's a natural incinerator or unnatural incinerator. But then we're hearing that the cells in
Lizon?
they're almost full.
They are. Actually, that was built in 2011. I think they put about 3 cells there. And they've filled it already. And now, in fact, I think, I'm not sure whether it was Black Construction or Cortec, built another 2 cells. And, you know, Doc,
those aren't.
There are. I was just going to make that point, is that it's unsustainable. We built, I think, 5 cells, or 3 cells already. And we were in the tens of millions of dollars on a what we call a bond issuance, okay? And so we sold the bonds, we built these 3 cells in the tens of millions. I think it was about almost $50 million. And now we filled it up. We haven't finished paying off this loan. We got to build 2 more cells. And now we're borrowing money for those 2, not yet finished paying this off. By the time these 2 get built, we're paying this, we're paying this. And if these 2 fill up, we're going to build a couple more cells. We can build about 11 cells over at Lidzon. So we've got 5 or 6 already covered, which means we only got 5 left, 5 areas of land available now for another 5 more landfill cells. But by the time we get to cell 7 or 8, we're going to have all these debts to pay off. We haven't paid off the first 3, we haven't paid off the second 2, and we're now putting another 2 more for cell 6 and 7. You can't sustain this kind of debt service.
I can't keep up with you. Your math is too good. So my other incinerator, because I mean, let's face it, we have to reveal to our listening audience, your roots come from Saipan.
My father from Saipan.
Father's from Saipan. Saipan has an incinerator.
No, they don't. Other than the hospital, probably.
Okay, so well.
But they don't have enough trash to actually do waste to energy, but they certainly have enough trash to burn.
Yeah.
We would import the trash from Saipan and put it into a waste to energy.
I was down in Saipan before they got hit by the thing, and that same dude that's coming here to Guam, he was over in Saipan. So I think they have an incinerator now.
So they probably portable to burn it and just get rid of the trash and some.
I don't know, but you know, again, while you've been following the rules, while you've been going to court, there have been carpetbaggers coming in trying to
doing a few
take the
things,
business, right? I mean, because somebody's doing incinerating, and it's being done maybe not with the best interest of the local people at heart. You're from here. This is your home.
Right.
For anybody to claim that this is something that you would do just for money, I mean, clearly you know how to make money many different ways. This particular thing seems to be more of a passion.
And it's for the island and for our future generations. I'm concerned about where my children are going to live. Are they going to deal with this problem when they're at my age? And you know, as a parent, we have to be mindful of that.
Yes.
And so I don't want my children dealing with this because I know about what needs to be done. So I think it's an obligation on my part as a parent and a member of this community to take care of that before the next generation comes online to take over, you know, all of our responsibilities.
So could we quit talking about trash just for a minute?
Sure.
Well, I'm curious. I want to ask one question.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask a question too. Because
You're a guest on the show, young man. Yes, sir.
At the hospital, do they throw all their trash in the incinerator, or just the leftover body parts, or you know, what do they use it for? You know?
Actually, I want to make a point.
Your barbecue's better than theirs.
The hospital has burns hazardous stuff.
Right.
You know, we can't burn that in an incinerator that produces electricity and waste energy. So you can have that separate. That's a separate issue, and we cannot bring that into a regular incinerator.
Mr. Spock, wait a minute. You're telling me that the hospital can do some stuff that you wouldn't do?
That's correct.
Because what they're doing might be a little bit dangerous and might emit dioxins or things onto the nearby surrounding neighborhood, which is where I live.
Yeah, Jonestown,
you know, the
man.
damn thing's in the middle of my neighborhood.
Yeah, that is a fact. It's a hazardous situation.
Run by a hazardous management group.
Because, yes.
So no supervision, apparently, except from Lilian Guerrero. So she does like doing that. She does like incinerating.
You have to.
Burning things right in the middle of our neighborhood.
There is probably no other way to get rid of hazardous material than to burn it. And so if you burn it or maybe ship it to some other place, which is more expensive. And so that is a separate issue. We cannot accept that kind of material into the regular incinerator because of regulations. But there are other types of technologies that can take care of that, like plasma and, you know, we talked about that.
Pyrolysis.
Pyrolysis, exactly. Now, those are negative types of incinerators. In other words, you need more fuel to produce even less fuel than what you burn. But it has a purpose for something like hazardous materials. I mean, when it burns, it just turns it and vaporizes it.
Are we done with trash?
Yeah, go ahead. I was just curious.
Well, for me, the issue is this is a really easy problem to solve.
Correct.
It requires a word that I hesitate to use often, leadership. And we've got people over at the legislature that have had eyes on this and opportunities to deal with it in the last 2 years, and they have not.
Yeah. I think a lot of disinformation has been spread about
AstroTurf.
Well, they're concerned about, the air quality. No, we cannot put anything into the environment if the EPA won't allow it. Okay, so we have scrubbers to take care of the emissions control. The ash has to be. We have to take care of the ash before we put it over to the landfill or spread it around. Ala Moana Park in Honolulu. That's all ash, sugarcane ash. They would burn all of that, and then they created this park on reclaimed land. That whole park, Ala Moana Park, across from the mall, is all ash from the sugarcanes.
Sorry, Captain Jeff. We have breaking news from our correspondent, Senator Will Castro, about to read a very important breaking news. This is the Pirate Podcast, Pirate Nation. Senator Castro.
Yeah, just on a serious note, I guess according to all major media outlets, the President of the United States was whisked out, according to, allegedly due to shots being fired at the White House. So we wish the President and the staff and the people in D.C. All the best as our prayers go out to you.
It does seem like our show on a Sunday really does become the center of a lot of breaking news, and so we really appreciate you staying tuned to what's about to be discussed here locally, but we think globally about all the things going on around the world, and we definitely have people in studio and folks who are about to join us to talk about very important things for you, for your future, for your family. So please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends and neighbors that this is going on, and because of our wonderful production team, you can now watch this on multiple platforms as well as watching it live today. Andrea?
Yes, well, we're going to play the footage. It's about 55 seconds, so people can see it on the screen as well.
So should we stop talking?
I will let you know.
Okay, so she's setting it up, and so you're getting the news as we get it, and then again, we are talking about a very important issue. We have other guests in studio who are going to talk about equally important issues, but if we could just acknowledge that Mr. Sablan, among the many things he does, he knows how to be a private business person in a very hostile governmental environment. He's been attacked. He still stands up and volunteers to work on boards. He's done many meaningful things in his life, and his reward for that is to be called a greedy businessman by Senator Chris Barnett, because he doesn't want to give up the business privilege tax, the privilege of doing business on Guam tax. So can you please comment, as somebody who's watched this over your career, what the hell is the privilege of doing business doing Guam? Okay, go.
We're going to play it now. You can think about that.
No, it's actually about altar boys. So you're not here for free, so go.
Okay, we're going to play it now.
I don't know. I didn't even know that.
We speak in general. The rollback of the BPT.
All right, okay, we're back on.
So you just witnessed what we are hearing about, and so obviously you can pay attention on your own media outlets, but then you might miss what Mr. Dave Sablan's about to say, because as a business person working at Atkins Kroll, as you know, Saipan is again taking over Atkins Kroll here on Guam. You, though, as a young man, were put in a lot of positions to thrive, but your government, did you know, didn't like you. They wanted you to pay more taxes for the privilege of doing business in Guam, and obviously I have could you just speak to that as a Chamorro, as a man, as a person who's trying to provide for your family with your own sweat, blood, and toil?
As far as the tax situation on the island?
Just the idea that they call it A business
Well,
privilege tax.
Yeah, I think it's a misnomer in my opinion. You know, it's a penalty, maybe a business penalty tax is what they should call it.
Yes.
Rather than a
They
privilege
should call
tax.
it that, yes.
That's right.
Where's the senator? There's a lot of senators. Yay, business penalty tax. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's
Okay.
still BPT, right?
When they said it was the gross receipt tax, that's kind of gross, so, you know,
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind of
not-
better than doing a
The
privilege to
non-gating
do business here, right?
That's right, that's right. They're trying to make it sound nice, but it really isn't.
Okay.
And it's hidden. It's a
That
hidden
was a
tax, by the
softball. You
way.
hit that one over the fence. Thank you, sir. Again, remember you're among pirates, so nothing is off limits here. You also served in the church.
Yes, I'm the
In
president.
the Catholic Church.
Yeah, president of Concerned Catholics of Guam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So very much involved with the controversies regarding the altar boys, which has just quietly kind of faded into the past, right?
Correct.
But we've often compared the government of Guam's abuse of the business community here as like raping altar boys, right? They basically tell you to bend over and they stick it in your ass. How do you feel about the way that the church has handled the altar boy thing and the comparison to Governor Lou Youngro and Josh Nero's treatment of the business community over the last 8 years?
One word, ignored. They just ignored everything. You know, the bishops back then just ignored it. They kept moving these priests around that were, you know, pedophiles basically. And so I think with the government, like I said, I've been trying to get this waste energy situation, going back to this subject, for the past 30 years. Okay, I've been very patient, you know, trying to get it in, giving them as much education as I could. I've been ignored in many respects, and I mentioned it on Ray's show on radio that I'm not a country bumpkin, you know. I understand what I'm talking about, and I won't say anything if I don't know what I'm talking about. I just keep quiet, you know. I listen more than I talk, if you want to look at it in terms of a communications angle. You know, listening is a much more important aspect of communication than talking. But you know, as over the years, I've learned a lot, and until somebody tells me something different that is better, I will continue to push what I believe is strong. On Ray's show the other day, we talked about this individual that came in from the States, from Colorado, who talked about waste energy, and he was promoting it. And he said there's other types of technology that also can be used on the island. But I was mentioning on Ray's show that the waste energy facility that I'm discussing is similar to the power plants that we have here on the island. The only thing is the fuel is different. It's trash rather than oil. And those are technologies that are tried and true, okay? And when you're dealing with the power system on the island, you don't want to do any kind of experimentation with plasma, with all these other types of new technologies, because if you start it and you put all this money in and then it blows up on you, you know, like some of these Tesla cars, okay?
Or like the motherboard for my air conditioner.
Yes, then what are you going to do, all right? So stay with something that is tried and true when you're dealing with the power system, because you're trying to give everybody the power. The new stuff, you can put it on the side and you know, go ahead and do some experiments, and if it works well, take a little portion maybe of the entire island-wide power system and then use it. You know, for example, and I said this on Ray's show the other day, we have a big swath of land being used for solar energy panels.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the difference with that and landfills?
Federal grants.
Yeah, exactly, subsidized. So everybody wants to get into that business. But the amount of land that is used is similar to a landfill. So what are we trying to do? You know, we're going from one problem to another problem. And we're in an island where the humidity coming from the ocean and after typhoons are going to put salt spray onto those panels, which means that if you've got, you know, 30 acres of panels all over the place, you're going to have a lot of people go there and try to, you know, put Windex on it to clean it down, right? And so it doesn't make sense. And I was telling Ray, where it makes sense, and I studied this, and I was involved in a lot of meetings with the American Public Power Association when I was a member of the board. I said, it's great in a desert. 5%,
humidity.
5% inches of rain for the annual year. No humidity, very dry weather. All you have to deal with is dust. And with dust, you just take a hose and just spray it, and then it cleans itself. So it makes sense in the desert, but not in a humidity area like we are here close to the equator. So solar panels can work for individual housing, but not for putting it into an island-wide power system. Maybe a small percentage could work, but not some of the things that we're experiencing now at Marble, in Arahan. You know, stay with waste energy as a technology that is tried and proven. You're only changing the fuel. The same kind of combustion turbine engines you're using for the generation, but you're just changing the fuel with a little adjustments, because you burn the trash, you boil water, you create steam. The steam turns the turbine, and you've got electricity. Maybe not as much as a regular oil driven generator, because the objective really is to burn the trash. You know.
Get rid of that. We're really impressed with how much you thought this through. I mean, again, if this was a science fair project, I'd give you at least
second
prize.
Right?
Yeah, no, at least B+. But the point is that it's a good thing you started when you were young, right? Because I mean, this is taking a little while. People have ignored you, tried to ignore you. But have you noticed people are running to you now? We're the ones calling you to come on the show. You're sitting next to a governor who I think is very, what do you call it, sympathetic to her plea. I think you're starting to convince Mr. Castro.
He's probably just as old as I am.
Well, and that's the thing. Both of you have proven the thing is last man standing. It's not always what you know, but it's how well you do what you do and how long you can do it. So I think...
there's a term in business for that, Doc.
No, I don't know.
It's called innovative diffusion.
That sounds... Is that a major? Can you go on for a major of innovative diffusion?
What it is that there's a cycle of knowing and educating people, and then it gets done. It could be within a year, and it could be like 30 years. But you go through a process where people are against it, and then as they get educated and little by little people are being informed about it, then more people start to join, and before you know it, you got the whole population convinced.
Hey, that sounds like the Roman Catholic Church. It really been a pleasure to talk to you today, sir. I'm so glad you came in the studio. You should have your own show.
You probably will the same thing.
You're doing this, showbiz, everybody.
It's not just a podcast, it's a channel.
I think because we have so many other guests, we're going to just cycle out. Any last words, sir?
No, I'm so happy that I'm having this opportunity to talk to the public about this. We have people that are already doing it in different countries, and we're an island, and we should adopt that same system.
I'm all for it, I'll tell you. I really have always felt that way, but just like it happened 30 years ago, politics stops everything on Guam.
That's right.
And that's why Charlie and I are running, because we want this place to be business first.
Correct.
People will benefit, guaranteed. The way it is now, it's people first, and nothing gets done within the government itself. The people in the government, they've taken us on a ride, to me, for 40 years, since I last ran for governor.
What bothers me as well is that some of these people that are in quote-unquote leadership positions or in servant positions, I prefer to call them, because they actually serve us as the public, but yet they think that they're the leaders, which they really aren't. They're supposed to listen to us. Right?
No, we're supposed to tell what we want, and they're supposed to accomplish it.
Yes,
not
exactly.
them tell us what we need in our lives.
They are our representatives.
It's the reverse situation here.
Well, that's why we're running.
You're on the right track, Jeff. I can tell you, Charlie.
Thank you.
The Lieutenant Governor is in studio, so let's rotate through, because we only have so many microphones. In fact, you can do something about that. If you love the content on this show and you love the guests that we're bringing in, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to leave us a generous monetary donation, perhaps the whole of your real estate and estate, please talk to our producer, Andrea. And we definitely are excited about bringing Lieutenant Governor Charlie Hermosa into studio. He has some breaking news, I think, from Beans and Barrel about a successful petition drive that was done just this past week. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman.
I see the bill.
Great, good to see you.
Can we slide down?
Jeff,
You're
thank you.
great,
Go in the
Dave.
middle.
I appreciate you. a lot.
Anytime.
When Dave was at AK, I started buying cars there. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew him then, and I saw him in Saipan when I visited there sometimes.
I had no idea that Atkins Kroll is one of the oldest, if not the
Hi,
oldest
Charlie.
company on Guam. They started off with Cove. Okay, guys, you can kiss and greet in the restaurant. In fact, the rest of you can come and kiss and greet with them in the restaurant. We are 0 degrees of separation. The barbecue is fired up. Wagyu burgers are on the grill, and there's ice in the urinal in the main men's room. I don't know about if he does that in the women's room anymore. We're getting some complaints.
There's no urinal in the women's room, okay?
So there's no ice in the women's room, but it's a very clean bathroom. The cleanest one down in Eaton, at least a commercial one, right? So come on down, but enjoy the crowd. Look at these people in the studio. You're going to want to meet with them, and it is open for business, as it is every day, right, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Mother's Day coming up.
365.
How did the last brunch go? Because I thought your price point was a little low.
It was only $30 for the buffet,
Amazing.
and
Amazing.
we served 300 people, and it went well.
Wow.
I mean, everybody was happy, and I didn't make as much money, because usually I lose money on these things, but I'm good with that. I mean, as long as people come back, that's my main thing.
All right. Come on down to Jeff's, and you'll get to meet Charlie Hermosa, who's now mic'd up, and so I'm going to talk into his microphone for me. Charlie, Beans and Barrel, everybody I know is going there. In fact, my brother was there the other day, and he signed the petition. Tell us about that petition drive.
No, he was there, and I appreciate everybody who took the opportunity to come down. And we had a lot of folks that were pretty busy on a Friday night, so they actually just came in to sign the petition, waved or said hello, and then took off. So, but it meant a lot to see a lot of folks just come in and support. So it really went a long way, and we were able to collect a lot more signatures because we want to go over just the minimum amount, and I think that after today we should be in good standings. We're also going to continue to collect more signatures during the week, but again, we have both headquarters running, Beans and Barrels and Jeff Pirates Cove, and come on down. And today is going to be another good day. I think that I got a lot of notes from folks that were not able to make Friday that are going to be able to come down today, and so they're going to be able to sign, meet and greet, eat and drink, and just have an enjoy and a beautiful Sunday down here.
I got people excited all over the place, and one of the great advantages of this particular gubernatorial team is they're engaged, right? I mean, they're open every day. You don't have to wonder where they are. Charlie just opened up his Beans and Barrels, so he's there a lot, but he's also doing a lot of other things. So come and talk to him. And then Jeff, obviously, this is the iconic destination on Guam, and it's a place where if you need to hear about what's going on the island, because really the media is limited, and the thing is communication is key. You got a lot of folks coming here from off island, and they heard that Jeff's is the place to go to get the real news, meet people who are the newsmakers, and a lot of people who are very, very expert at how mass communications is done on Guam and in Micronesia. And in studio today, we have the guy, the man who really is the voice of Guam, and someone who probably, when the White House or news correspondents need to know about what's going on, they call Ray Gibson. Ray, welcome to the studio.
Hi, thank you.
This is an amazing thing to have you in. Do you feel a little uncomfortable that now you're about to get interviewed by the Pirate and by Charlie Hermosa, or do you like it the other way where you're in charge?
I can handle pretty much any scenario. I think I'll be all right.
So you notice you're in between the two of them, and they've got a lot to tell
Well,
you.
we've been side by side for a long time. I'm not wearing it today, but I was wearing it yesterday.
Have you ever been this close to his hairy axillary?
When we were, I was going to wear our protester shirt. We made protest shirts back in the COVID time when they were basically using the Constitution as toilet paper.
Right.
And so we were out there protesting and trying to get businesses that shut down, that were shut down by the government for, hindsight being 2020, for absolutely no good reason.
Very noble, but again, you're in Jeff's bedroom, and so we have to really ask pointed questions for the purposes of our audience, the diaspora, and those local people.
I thought Will was going first.
We do. Oh no, you're going first.
Oh.
So the thing is that because this is all about disaster recovery. Will be that cleansing aperitif that we have at the end of dinner, because he's going to talk about some future things, positive things. But you, sir, you must have watched this whole disaster, Sinlaku, right? And then remembering how things went in Mawar. There was a moment in time when we were wondering if we were going to be the ones to get whacked.
Correct.
And I remember after Mawar, it was only you that was telling people what to do after the storm. Everything was down.
So
Docomo was flattened. PCA was spotty. The government had no clue. Please tell us your perspective post Typhoon Recovery Sinlaku vis-a-vis Mawar?
Okay, so making the comparison, and I'll borrow a line that I got from Simon Sanchez on the air a couple of times in the last week and a half or so, is that every storm has a different signature. They're all different. It's hard to be able to do an apples comparison from one storm to the next. We were the only ones on the air for a while after Mawar, and that was honest, blind luck. So there's preparation that's done. Usually in February, March, I start thinking about hardening because I know that we're going to have a typhoon season starting usually in May. But this one snuck up on us rather early. But I call my generator guy, call the air conditioning guy, call the fuel guys, and start making arrangements to make sure that our external facilities are as hardened as possible. So that was the case. Mawar, the only reason why we couldn't go on the air right away was because the generator was down. And I was able to find the manual for the generator and looked up the particular alarm condition. I said, okay, how do I fix this? And the manual said, press off and then press on. You're kidding. It's simple. It's not that simple. And I pressed the button and the thing roars to life and all of my systems came back up. Most of my systems managed to come up. The only thing that we missed was the phone lines and the internet. We couldn't get those up until we actually called IT&E to move the fiber from one building in the old iConnect infrastructure over to my building. So they did all that and we cut things over. And so for the most part, that part of our infrastructure stayed working. But I think in terms of what, it's the after action, right? So I think there were a lot of people
that we're just saying the inaction, right? Because not inaction like in a bad way. Mm-hmm. You were doing stuff before the storm like you're supposed to
prep,
right?
Yes.
How much did the government help you?
Oh, zero. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You're the major news source on Guam.
So the Civil Defense, Homeland Security called us in. This is in the middle of recovery. I got a quarter tank of gas, and the lines are long. Yeah, afterwards. And they called us up to the headquarters and says, how can we help you? And every single one of us, all of us in the media, we were all there at the same time. They said, we need fuel, and we might need to have, for our people to get access to gasoline so they can come back to the studios and actually do work. And there's all these people writing stuff down. There were no...
The ones who were stealing $1 million in overtime? The same people that are going to go to federal prison because they're a bunch of crooks?
There might have been some of those people in the room, but at the end of the day, there was no follow-up. There was no, okay, we're listening, and this is where you get your gas, this is where you get your generators. Where do we pull up our generator? We never got any of that stuff. So
you got no help from the government?
No, nothing.
Not before, not during, or after?
No.
Fuck you!
That's one.
Is there a swear jar here?
It's
full. It's full now, isn't it?
All right, jerks. That's the thing. Saipan is going through hell, but those people are helping each other. Man, they're the definition of help you. You're the definition of fuck you. You've got all the resources. I heard it so many times. Yeah, we got everything in the warehouse. Oh, we've got everything over at Northern Public Health. Nothing for the people that were actually living the nightmare, which was Mawar.
Okay, so fast forward 3 years almost, and we got hit with Sinlaku, sub-typhoon strength winds. We had a few gusts over 80 miles an hour.
But dude, no, before that, we were going to get whacked with 150 miles an hour.
Well,
so did they call you and say, hey, we fucked up the last time?
No. I didn't get any. I didn't get any of that. But I do want to make it clear, though, that there was at least one organization that stepped up. Guam Power Authority.
Thank you.
GPA. I mean, as they have for the entire community, and getting everybody back up inside of a week is nothing short of miraculous. If this had been the same kind of storm 10 years ago, I think we'd still be bucket flushing and charging.
I don't know why people are happy about the fact that the rest of the government took the day off, right? I don't know why everybody's happy that the government, they took like 2 days off before the storm actually hit to prepare themselves, to go steal generators for themselves, to fill up water for themselves, right? But GPA guys, they knew they were going to have to harden, so they went to bed early. They took their Wheaties. They knew they were going to be busy afterwards.
Well, same thing with the guys over at DPW. Same thing with the guys over at GWA. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it was flawless.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But okay. They got the tools that they needed to put 98 water wells either online under their own power or generator power. If the mechanics, if the electricians couldn't fix it, then they called John Beneventi, and John would send somebody over with a generator
So that's
to
the
electrify.
improvement. Okay,
So I want to say that there's been improvement. So after Mawar, we didn't have shore power at the site for almost a month. So I had to sweat out fuel and delivery and getting the fuel in the generator.
Reimbursed? Did you get reimbursed for any of that?
No. That's all summer.
I got 2. Where's my 5?
You did 3, just relax.
Yeah.
I was going to do it because that
3 strikes.
Well, so
they pay you for that.
But GPA, I went up to the transmitter site, post storm, as soon as things were quiet enough for me to drive up. I had my Dave Eckert moment, and things got quiet enough for me to drive the Frontier up to the street and go take a look at things. And I started taking pictures of the damage.
Channel 10.
Yeah, Channel 10. So I took some pictures and sent them to Simon and said, the damage isn't that bad up here. There's other telecom, there's other radio stations, there's a TV station, KUAM's up there. And so, yeah, just to let you know, I don't think the damage up here is as severe as it was in Mawar. And by Friday night that week, GPA electrified our circuit.
Wow.
And so one less thing for me to worry about. And it makes sure that KUAM TV, I think there's, as I said, there's a couple other radio stations on the hill, my stations, and we were able to get back up on the air. So GPA came through. I mean, they recognized the value.
Better than Mawar, because after Mawar, remember Mr. Berdalia got thrown under the bus, and then he fought back because he was saying that, the water thing after Mawar was almost as bad as Docomo going down. But then you've got the private sector versus the government, right? And so this is the whole reason why I think so many people are running for office, and we have 6 gubernatorial teams, the best one in studio with us today. Your government failed you. Only because you're a rugged, outdoorsy dude, you kept things going. But we don't have a government radio station. Well, no, actually, we do have a government radio station.
Yes.
We have a government TV station. Where the hell were they?
I don't know.
Oh, they're actually in the bar. A lot of them are actually sitting in the bar. So, hi, guys. I mean, again, I don't think it's optional for the government to get themselves running in the middle of a typhoon. What do you think?
There are services that still need to be delivered to the people, but the
How
way...
will they get delivered if there's no communications?
Well, who's doing the communicating?
It's supposed to be the government.
So-
There's actually a director of communications with a whole bunch of other people that work in agencies, and they all make $85,000 a year rate.
There's I've got to say, not trying to defend anybody, but I thought that they did a fair job over at the Joint Information Center. There were...
You mean the one that ripped off $3.1 million in overtime?
Notwithstanding that, and they've got a different way that the system is set up, so PIOs from different departments and agencies will sit with the resource agencies, the Power Authority. No, Crystal Paco.
I know, we don't know who it is, so honestly,
It's John Ryan.
I don't believe you.
It's John Ryan.
Who?
John Ryan.
I never heard of
So
him. So the thing is,
they-
John Ryan made no presence in this storm. I'm not reassured by John Ryan.
So I'm trying to think of Leon Guerrero. What's his name? Phil Leon Guerrero. He used to work with me over at
No, Phil did
K57.
great. Phil-
Yeah, we had Phil on, and so he knew what I would be looking for in terms of information on the couple of times that I reached out to him. But the Joint Information Center was pretty good. I want to say that they'd sent out 13 or 14 publications a day, updating people on what's going on in public health, what's going on with GWA, and then they switched over to a response.
Dude, that takes 45 minutes.
Yep.
To update that stuff, and it's just, cut and paste, press send. Don't give them too much credit. They weren't out in the field. They weren't making sure that the radio station that the government owns and pays for, or the TV station was communicating with people that didn't have access to radio.
I didn't have any problems reaching out to anybody that I couldn't get my hands on one way or the other.
But I think what you're saying is, and some of the things that we heard was the fact that a lot of folks didn't have connectivity,
Right.
So they couldn't get the messages, like they couldn't get physically the things that were being sent over WhatsApp.
It was all internet. It was all internet based. So John Ryan gets a big F, and by the way, he makes more than 85,000. He's making 120 to do very little.
So besides the radio, in which I actually went to a home and they couldn't fire up this mechanical radio that they had.
Yeah.
They had no other ways to listen to what's going on.
Right.
So it was, that was the first time I was like, wow, kind of going back to the days when you didn't have email and you didn't have,
Those days, that was last week. It was 2 weeks ago.
No,
for a
right.
lot of people.
So the question is like, how if you don't have that, if you pretend that everybody has the means to be able to receive these via WhatsApp or email, what is the alternative?
There's a lot of
That's why we try to stay on the air. So we want to stay on the air on an actual radio station.
Right, Ray? You didn't have to show up to work. You've got your own problems. You're a private guy.
Yeah.
You're the greedy.
Greedy fuck.
You just took the place of the other greedy dude.
Right. So, but so for me, it was that's what we do. We do it as a service. We is in the public interest as a public trustee. We use the airwaves that are public, and so there's an obligation. There's an understanding that I'm going to be there when the lights go off. But the transmitter only goes so far. Even though we're any speaker anytime, any screen anytime, it comes down to your ability to be able to turn that thing on and watch us just like this. And so a lot of that goes back to connectivity. And I think one of the things that people learned over the last 3 years is that our systems are not bulletproof. No. IT&E learned that, Docomo learned that, GTA learned that. And I think everybody on Guam learned that. And all the people that went to Home Depot and bought those little Starlink minis, learn their lesson.
You're doing a commercial for Elon Musk. We must stop. Because let's just say, right, this was supposedly a natural thing. Although there is a theory that there's a lab in Wuhan that actually created this storm called Sinlaku. Do you believe that?
No.
Conspiracy theory starts here. We're
going to do chemtrails now?
No, that's the thing. Is that the typhoon shouldn't have happened. Wrong time, wrong path. Looked like it was intentional to take out Anderson Air Force Base, but it missed.
But this is the reactive notion. So if we understand that at some point the connectivity is going to go down, radio is the only way. Why isn't that part of it? Why isn't that part of the landlines work? Like why would
you know that?
Yeah,
because wouldn't tell anybody.
Well, there was homes but now why is it that we wouldn't put that as a priority on? Radio's making sure, reaching out to radio. Do you have enough fuel? We'll give you extra gallons to make sure that if something happens, you're firing away.
Are you asking a question?
No, I'm saying that this is what
that was rhetorical.
Yes,
that was a rhetorical question. But let's ask the real question because otherwise,
or even just get
Ray,
the radio.
why isn't it like that? You've been doing this for years.
So
you were here in Pamela.
It's a transition of technology, and so AM radio. And in particular, the signal that originated right up over there in Menengan, AM radio is very expensive and very technical in its nature. You got to have a big tower with a big stick and a big transmitter that's attached to it,
music.
And country music. But except for a couple of religious stations, there's no big AM boomer on Guam, and FM. It can travel, but only until you can't see the tower anymore.
Line of sight, right?
Yes.
So, but AM goes around the mountain, through the mountain.
Through the mountain. Yep.
But that's the thing is that country music, big where I was from in Minnesota and Kansas. So you could hear it for miles, right? Texas.
Big clear channel, 100,000 watt AM station.
AM is very, very necessary in rural areas.
So we run into the other problem after that, and anybody in the room got an actual AM radio?
Yeah, I do, but I have to put batteries in it. But the thing is
that was another factor.
Voice of America.
That's another factor. Well, that's shortwave radio. That's for all intents and purposes. Shortwave has been dead for a while.
Well, one thing that I keep thinking, and I've heard from the different communicating networks, is GPA needs to take care of the radio stations and take care of the buildings that house the generators that run the communications and put them online right away after the storm, so people can use their phones, so people can communicate. And it should be a priority. I mean, even back in, Typhoon Pamela, right? I was working for KETB, AM station.
Yep.
We were on our own. The government didn't come help us. And this is the thing. The government looks at the private sector, not as the enemy, but with distaste, because we might criticize the government, which we're supposed to do. But not on Guam. You're not supposed to do that.
No,
because you're criticizing royalty, okay?
I
know it's our money. We're overtaxed payers. I know that.
Servants. Well,
I have something, guys.
Go.
Okay. We know we've been talking about this for a long time. There's actually already in existence right now, millions of dollars have been spent on emergency alert systems. Yeah. And if you go and speak to the legislature, they get those notifications in real time.
They do.
No, well, I don't know about Will. I don't know if Will knows.
Well, he's not a senator yet.
Tello, I know she knows.
Why don't you tell me?
Well, because
tell it to me, Tello.
Listen, Doc, it actually already exists.
Well,
I know. But
so we're part of the EAS network. We're part of the EAS network. I don't recall getting an emergency alert.
That's crazy.
It's not used.
There's two things. The technology.
Give it to Ray. It'll work.
But the technology already exists.
Give him the money. Let him do it.
So you can also buy an EAS radio. You can buy a weather radio, AM, FM, EAS, and when
Starlink.
when an alert is sent, it will automatically unmute the radio.
And this is a perfect example, right? So if the system is in place, we do this a lot.
What?
Like
Buy
across
stuff and don't use it?
exactly. It seems like
Like
somebody
the car crusher.
somebody
No, no,
comes
no,
in
no,
with
no.
a little shiny.
We didn't buy the EAS system. The radio station.
Fuck you! You know, the thing is,
the radio
this is
stations
stupid.
have to
This is
buy it.
really, really dumb.
Wait. So but how?
We have all these things and we don't use
Wait,
them.
but so how would that work, right? How does the EAS work? What is the
There's-
process behind that?
I'm not even sure if there's a working state plan anymore, but
Okay.
so
Wait to
there's
make the problem
primary
worse.
there's primary and secondary stations. We are a secondary station. We are the listening station. Ed Poppy and K Stereo are the primary EAS stations. So when an alert gets sent out, it gets sent to them, and that unmutes a box, and then they send a tone.
They said, who's they?
Ed Poppy will send a tone.
No,
Okay.
but who has to receive
Somebody
it?
over at Homeland Security, Civil Defense, the governor,
A
the
government
president of the
Guam
United
employee.
States.
A government of Guam employee. So Donald's calling Lou on the EAS. Lou's supposed to get it out for John Ryan. John Ryan's getting paid $150,000 a year.
There is a line of communications, and it
It
works.
got broken in a storm that was a banana typhoon. Could have killed us. Could have been 200 miles an hour on top of Guam for like 2 days. Could have been really bad.
I'd have to check the record, but I don't believe that we ever received any EAS alerts during the
So
storm.
Ray, solution-minded, right?
Yes, go.
If Charlie and Jeff perhaps issued an EAS radio or device.
Governor Jeff.
Governor and Lieutenant Governor, if they issued an EAS device to every home in Guam, would that immediately alleviate the problem? And of course, we had access to that.
Well, so it's all dependent on the transmitters, though. I mean, it's nice to have the receiver, but if the radio stations go down, we can't relay the EAS
They're
message.
depending on you. They depend on you to communicate. That's the thing. Everything depends on you. You could have not shown up. You know, there's a guy named John Anderson, right? He used to run a radio station.
Yeah.
He worked at a place called WXZE in Saipan, which was apparently run by the Department of Interior. Their job was to stay online through the typhoons and then get back up and tell everybody where things go. They were a government radio station and TV station that stayed up. And he was paid to do it, or maybe he just did it because he had nothing else to do.
Mhm.
But John Anderson, you know him?
No, I'm very familiar with
They even had
He
that.
fired me. He fired me twice.
But you know,
Well, that's okay, because I got your job.
even, you know, but they also had those radio stations during the war. And
We
they were-
are in a war. That's the whole point. I hate to break it to you guys, but this Pong Song Wa or Sinlaku, whatever the hell that was not a real typhoon. That was a North Korean weather storm.
Event.
Yes.
Mm.
That was North Korea trying to take Ray out, and they failed.
Yeah.
No, but there's technology, we talked about this last year, remember? BitChat by Jeff.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So we can implement the mesh network.
Yeah.
Which will not be reliant on it.
Okay, but see, that's a greedy business guy again, right? So you got greedy business
It's
people.
free.
No, I know, well, but nothing's free, honey. But you know, the thing is, it's IA. So the thing is, Elon Musk wants to sell us a bunch of Starlinks. What do you think?
I bought one.
Yeah.
I bought one.
And they sell them at Home Depot.
But this is
Yeah, you can. There's a new one. It's about the size of a deck of cards.
Because that's the
No, but I mean, going back to what Andrea's saying is that, but this is the issue that we come up with because we're all coming up with solutions, right? But there is a law or there's a legislative process in place already. So when we bring up things, they're like, well, you can't really do it because this is the way it looks. Then you start looking at it and you're like, well, I've never seen it work. What do we need to do to activate it? And this is where the slow, and all of a sudden the process and that motivation you have to change hits a snag.
What's what Dave Sablan was just saying from that very chair.
Yeah. No, exactly. So these are the things. These
Wear
are the
you
things
out,
that
wear
we
you
need
down.
to flesh out. And we've been asking, and you
No,
know.
that's about leadership, though.
No,
right?
I mean,
It's about
not.
leadership.
But I mean, not to call out, the speaker as well. But you know,
No, right.
about a year ago, you know, these are the things that we were supposed to flesh out. These are the things, and you know, he came back and said, listen, if you look at the dynamics of what we have in place and laws and policies, you know, they're so ancient. Like, you know, where do we start? Well, you know, there's ways to do it right now. I mean, why don't we critically look at the things that we need to flesh out so that the next storm we can activate and do all these things in place.
Can't do it because we spent the last year debating on the correct spelling of tomorrow.
Yes.
That's
Thank
the
you,
other
Ray.
part.
That was bring us back to reality. Way to be the pragmatist.
Yeah, and so when we're wasting our time, we're dealing with whether we want to do digital or paper copy when we're posting, we're spending man hours, and our senators are, the bills that are being proposed, are they affecting change, and are they impacting your life? When they're spending hours on digital versus paper, that's a waste of time.
Are they enabling business?
And are they enabling
To
business?
Jeff's point.
Yes.
Are they enabling
I have
business?
a comment here, and someone said, Doc, specifically, hilarious. Akimoto wants the government to help a private radio station to prepare for a storm.
I do.
Explain why.
I do, because clearly your government doesn't want to help you. Clearly your government just wants to make excuses. Look at all the toys they have to help you. Your government sucks, buddy. I mean, vote for somebody who's going to do a better job. Because the governor of Guam can do a lot of things. One of the most powerful positions in the entire United States government. A lot of it invested in Jeff if he's the governor of Guam. Leadership matters. And when you have leadership in the private sector that's better than what you have in government, give them the resources. It's a thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the government can play a critical role, but it's got to be able to sort of lose the tentacles where they have complete control. Because if the radio stations are the ones that are going to mandate these emergency systems, let them do it, support them. But managing the port, they got to get out of managing the port. They got to get out of managing the hospital. So these are the things. Can they have oversight? Absolutely. Can they have control? No.
All right, because we obviously have to bring this young man back in the studio or give him his own show. Ray, real quick. Here's the thing that
I have my own show. Every morning, 6 o'clock, 93.3, any speaker, anytime.
Tomorrow morning, Monday morning.
It's tomorrow, I'll be on. Talk about this wonderful adventure that we're having today at Jeff's Pirates Cove.
So then maybe you can get Elon on, because he's about to make a lot of money, right? We are coming to the conclusion throughout this entire Micronesia that we can't trust the internet as currently derived, where it's relying on electricity, and somehow Starlink works without electricity, right?
It doesn't
No,
work.
I mean, you can. Yeah, you can plug it into the outlet, but if you unplug it from the outlet, it's not going to work anymore.
But it takes the wattage of a very small light bulb.
It doesn't take a whole lot of electricity. You can run those things on a solar panel. They've got small ones now that you can run on a solar panel.
It looks like the days of Docomo and GTA are going away, because if you have Starlink and you're paying $80 a month, right, and you got to put $300 down just to get a receiver.
Starlink doesn't have. I mean, they advertise speeds up to 400 megabaud, right?
What do you got?
I don't know. Some days at my house it's as low as 30. Some days it's 200. Some days it's not the same. It's not consistent all the time. Okay. And you're traveling
so you got
from
the
one.
cheap plan.
No, I've got the $80 a month plan. Started off at 75, and now it's 80.
I thought we got it free.
No, 1 month. We got 1 month free.
How would
from
you like
Elon.
Elon Musk controlling all of that? The entire region. How would you like this one dude, Elon Musk, be in charge of all our communications?
You know what? I can't tell you how impressed I am with Elon Musk. He lost money on X, but he lost money on Twitter. But Twitter's a whole bunch better, and it is where free-thinking people go to have communications with each other. It's one of my places where I go to get news. Yeah, it's True Social. Well, I mean, True Social is Donald Trump's, but he reposts his stuff, True Social stuff, on Twitter, on X, because he recognizes that there's a whole lot of people on that platform. So I'm okay with what he's doing there. The Starlink conversation has become a great equalizer, but it's not. Some people want a hard line to their house. I think GTA's got fiber to the house now. I know IT&E has got their network. And I can't remember the name of it right now. And Docomo has been working very, very hard to harden their systems as well to provide a locked in bandwidth. Well, and the other thing about Starlink, people think I could use that to carry my signal from the radio station studios up to the transmitter at channel 10. But it will also drop out. If you look at your Starlink, if you look at the Starlink app, it'll tell you how many times it went out today. And there might be little small, tiny millisecond. What's that?
Docomo won't tell you that.
I'm sure there's a way that you
There's a
can
way you
meter
could.
systems.
Your brain would blow up if they didn't.
What makes it drop? Is it the Guam power, or is it?
No, it's just the difference between.
Atmospheric,
we're moving. I'm trying to remember whether the satellites move or we move, but we're going from. It's like going from one cell tower to another one. If I understand it correctly.
The point is, it's not perfect, and that too can go down. And then again, we'd be back into the ice age.
We had, do you remember about a year and a half ago, we went through one of these geomagnetic storms from the sun. A solar cloud came out.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Well, no.
That was from China.
China. But even that one caused drops in connectivity on Starlink. My buddy over at GTA referred to it as the space typhoon.
Yeah.
It's a space kind of condition too.
We giggle about it, but it's so critical because we've given up on landlines. Apparently GTA has no intention of maintaining the landlines. And just like you say, AM is too expensive to maintain. They think landlines are too expensive to maintain.
It's a question of efficiency. Landlines, and they can multiplex them and phase division multiplex and get a lot of signals and the old copper pairs.
Or the fiber.
Well, it's a small number in comparison to the number of signals and data that can be carried on fiber. So it's a business decision. Yeah. I mean, it always has been. I mean, even the cell phones. They tell you a story. When cell phones first came out on Guam, a cell phone connection was awesome. It sounded great. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was they had really good connections. And the reason why was because they had not divvied up the bandwidth, right? So they went all digital, and it was supposed to be better for the consumers. At the end of the day, it was better actually for the telecoms because they could get more subscribers packed in and more data from subscribers, paying customers through the new bandwidth that they were using. And now that we've gone 5G, the numbers have multiplied.
Businessmen are greedy, and now they've sold us an inferior product. So it doesn't sound good anymore. So going back to Elon Musk,
right.
He's a greedy dude. He's the world's richest dude. Apparently, Donald Trump said the U.S. government propped up his business, gave him a lot of money.
Did it?
That's what Donald said. I mean, because Elon's a smart dude, but he needed capital. He needed permission to send things.
I think Elon Musk can loan the government, the federal government money.
Because he did good. I mean, he did the work. He had great ideas. He's the Henry Ford of our time. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, this storm is telling us, buy Starlink. It's telling everybody on Guam right now, buy Starlink.
It should be telling everybody on Guam to figure out how to prepare for outages. So
then why doesn't the government of Guam buy Guam Starlink? Why aren't we being given a government account to run Guam's communications on a Starlink multiplex?
There is from the Biden administration, and I don't know where they are in the process right now, but they're working on a mechanism to tie in.
Biden? He's not the president.
I know he's not, but the idea came out of his administration where they were going to try to get bandwidth to as many different people in as many different places as possible. Will probably knows the name of the program.
Well, so thank you for the segue. So any last words before we you're the negative, he's the positive. Black and white, ebony and ivory. And so you've given us this really somber, very thoughtful.
Well, because it's just the reality.
It's a lived life.
Yeah, and so
it's dark. I mean, it's everything you're talking about just makes me want to cry. You're saying no more AM. Come on, man. What are the Cowboys going to listen to?
But it's a business decision, and I had to make a business decision.
Look, we have a listener
I had to make a business
criticizing business people for getting government money because they can't be trusted. Your what is it? Your capitalistic intentions override the public good.
Right.
I think that's what you're trying to say. So let's bring in somebody who's maybe a little bit more pure. Somebody who has intentions that are good.
I learned everything I know about business from Will Castro. We used to be in business together.
You should stick around, Ray. Stay for this one.
But wait a minute. So I mean, because we want to cleanse the palate, but let's let you have the last word for your segment.
Build back better. For real this time. For real this time. They told us we were going to build back better after COVID, and that didn't happen. They told us we'd build back better after Mawar, and that didn't happen. We put things back in kind of a shape that they were in, kind of, sort of. If you blur your eyes, it kind of sort of looks like it was before, and they say, okay, well, that's fixed. I think today is and now should be the time where every man, woman, child, dogs, and cats on Guam demand more from our government. Demand more by way of services, demand more by way of enabling businesses to keep doing what it is that we're trying to do. You know, every time somebody leaves Guam, you know, you think about the people that are leaving Guam. These are enablers. These are people that, you know, are neighbors that can't make it here anymore, and they leave Guam and they take their talent with them, they take their money, they take their retirement, and they go and live someplace else. And they're going to be the caretakers for all of us when we get old. They're going to be the ones that you know, fix the electricity and the plumbing and all of that. They're going to take their skills and they're going to take them off island. So we've got to do more. And what's the line I like to use? You know, if you're
Build back better.
Build back better. No, build back better for real. But the other one is, and this is the challenge to you know, the elected representatives. There's 1, 2, 3. Is give me a reason to stay. Now I'm not going anywhere. But there's a lot of people that are pondering right now, today, tired of living in Typhoon Alley, tired of, you know, sometimes the power goes out, tired of worrying about the hospital and the schools, and they're thinking, you know, I've got a certain amount of money that comes to me in a paycheck every couple of weeks, and I need to make it go further. And it doesn't go very far here on Guam. So you need to start thinking about giving people reasons to stay.
And constantly have to buy a new microwave because of the surge,
Mm-hmm.
the equipment, appliances that we have at home. I mean, I had to throw a bunch of stuff away
Even
now.
here, we've had major problems with refrigeration because of the in and out of power, plus the typhoon and going from generator back to island power. And yeah, we need to really harden up the island.
Yeah, I mean, and people that can, you know, barely afford it, they finally got a new refrigerator after Mawar, and now it's gone.
Surge protectors on everything.
But even surge protectors,
it only goes to
they go right
they
through.
really work, you know?
All the darkness aside, let's bring a little bit of levity to the room. I mean, this is after all Sunday, so let's let.
The longest he's gone without talking. I've never heard Will this quiet before.
He's speechless.
That's true.
But now, because he actually has a microphone, Will Castro, you're running for senator. We have a producer though.
I think we have a break.
Before you do that, don't look at the actual confirmed picture of the shooter is a teacher of the month.
Oh gosh.
Oh my.
Cole Allen. I will send it to you.
Do you know where he's from? What did they say?
I think it looks like Torrance, California.
Yes, because I've actually heard his name in a group of folks that I met in DC actually a couple of weeks back.
What's the name?
Cole Allen.
Cole Allen, yeah.
From Torrance, California.
Wow.
So why did you hear about him before?
No, there was a group of students who had gone to DC, and they were celebrating a teacher being elected as the national teacher from their specific high school or from their specific school.
And he's the alleged shooter?
Well, I'm just trying to put a couple of things. Wow.
A lot of serious news going on here, and we do need to be concerned about the safety of the folks in Washington, D.C., and the safety of the people throughout the world who are in harm's way, because we are at war. Do have a special guest sitting in the bar, Mr. Michael Haskell. Can you please come down to the studio so you can see what you've been missing, and if Ryan, our in-studio producer, might be able to help him make his way. Mr. Michael Haskell sitting at the bar. Hello to you. You know, that's the thing. There are people watching around here, impressionable folks, people that may now need to go into therapy. Telemedicine is a thing. You know, Ray Gibson, very dark today, but usually in his regular gig, he has this whole program. You can tell he does these things to kind of keep it light so the sponsors.
Well, you were asking me serious questions.
I know. I mean, that's why we bring you to this long form, right? This is not pithy.
Yeah.
This is the real Ray Gibson. I mean, he's a very complicated, complex guy, like a good glass of Beaujolais. Which I've never drank, but it sounded good, right? Beaujolais. So this is Ray Gibson, but this is Senator Will Castro, someone who people think they know, but you don't know Will. So Will's going to tell you who he is and why he's running for senator.
Hafa, first of all, Jeff, thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
I don't know exactly what I got myself into. Just listening to the dialogue that has been going on from waste to energy to hardened telecommunications. My name is Will Castro, and I'm currently a principal and a teacher at Career Tech High Academy Charter School, Gihidzahaget. And I'm running because I think I spent enough time outside of elected office, frontline elected office, that I've come to be more aware about the challenges facing education, first and foremost. And also, not of less importance, would be the revitalization of our Chamorro language and culture. And then a sensitive spot for me would be Manamko and persons with disabilities. And so I'm not coming in hoping I can effectuate change one way or another and just kind of, to use your phrase, pissing in the wind. I have some very firm ideas and convictions about what I want to do to improve and strengthen education on Guam. And I welcome the hard questions. I think this is probably going to be the first time I've been surrounded by a whole bunch of divergent thinkers asking as we're on live. This is going to be exciting, I'm sure, to say the least. So fire away.
You know it, buddy. So when it comes to education, what are you going to actually do?
Yeah, so I have a few ideas. One, I like to level the playing field for all systems of education. Many people don't realize there's an entire charter school community. We've neglected the parochial private school community, and we almost never hear about the homeschool community, right? We're talking about kids who are homeschooled with their parents or have aunts and uncles, and so the field is not level in more ways than one. I can give you many examples. You want one?
Well, what I want to know is the public education system in place now doesn't seem to be working, right? It's very costly. There's a lot of politics in there. What can we do to change that to make everybody get a good education?
Sure. So, well, to be fair, GDOE is a large monolithic entity. It's been around ever since. You're asking me a specific question about DOE. A couple of things to know. Number one, the State Education Agency and the Guam Department of Education are one and the same. I think there's 40 schools in total, maybe 23 to 25,000 students. I don't know how many employees now, 3,500 to 4,500. It's not working as well as it should for many reasons. One, it's too bureaucratic. In my opinion, having been a former central chief planner and acting associate superintendent, there are reasons, good reasons in place as a safeguard, what auditors call internal controls, to discourage people from taking advantage of the system. We're talking about $250+ million that cycle through this system. But sitting in the trenches right now as a principal, I can tell you that they don't have the same privileges to move, to acquire certain things that they may need today. An aircon goes out, they have to go through central procurement. And God bless the people at procurement, I know quite a few of them, but you're too small to handle the demands of an entire system. And that's not to take away from what you do. What I'm trying to promote here is greater site-based management and autonomy with certain conditions. That's one. I'll give you another one. The reason why there's such a shortage in teachers, we're talking about DOE, and I hope we can get into the other systems. Another reason why there's such a shortage, in my opinion, based on my observations and foreign perspectives, would be of teachers is because we undercompensate the early teachers or the non-so-called credentialed or certified. I think that's a good debate we're going to have, but notwithstanding that, I think one of my first pieces of legislation would be to introduce higher wage and compensation for entry-level teachers. Imagine walking in with an Ivy League master's degree and being compensated at emergency teacher rate pay, which is a substitute teacher.
How much?
I don't know what it is now, 29, 30? It's hogwash. No. Someone with a master's can go to DOE, and because you're not a certified teacher, you're going to get paid a substitute teacher pay. I mean, I may be a little off, but I'm not exaggerating. That needs to change if you want to attract quality teachers. We're talking people from the industry. You're talking new teachers with great credentials, but who are being more inclined to work for an entity behind the fence because they pay so much more. Then you got to compete like any marketplace.
So why do you think that there's no transparency in GDOE? And the reason why I say, and let me frame this up, is that you being a principal now, you know the data behind all your students.
I do.
You know what grades are doing well, you know what teachers are performing, you know what kids are learning in a faster way, you know the data behind that. At GDOE, there's certain silos, there's certain schools that are really good at producing data, but a collective, there is no data saying how GDOE is performing. All we're saying is GDOE is not working, but they cannot explain what levels, they only say, well, only 30%, but that is not clear data. Why do you think they're not transparent as far as being able to promote that data that they have?
So having been the administrator of the Research Planning and Evaluation Division of DOE, I can tell you that there is a lot of data out there. There's a lot.
Yep.
It depends on who you ask. It depends who has the time to go and actually farm it, to mine it.
That was my question. How we farm it.
Well, if you have a great administrator, and somebody kept saying leadership throughout this entire...
I kept saying. Fuck you.
That's number 4, 5. Yeah. But leadership, and there are great leaders out there in the schools and in the divisions. If you ask the right questions, you should be able to get it because they're required to send those upstream, so to speak, right? Some principals can tell you from memory, some may have to go in and tell you things like persistence rates. And that's a rate when you go from 9th to 10th to 11th to 12th, or graduation rates.
But collectively, why doesn't GOE have a dashboard that the public can see and we can say, okay, press a button to say every single kid has, why is the collective, where is that? I mean, why should I have to go in mine and have to ask, if the divisions, like, why isn't this data available for us to see exactly what's going on in the schools?
Not to take anything away from Dr. Wampat, but I can tell you it's not the first time I've heard it. I think maybe it just needs to make it to her. She's a new superintendent. For someone who's been in the system for so long and been outside of it and at many levels at the executive branch.
Former speaker?
Yeah, a former speaker. She's actually very open to new ideas. Believe it or not, I had 3 or 4 conversations about things that would change the paradigm from an outsider coming into the system. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's developing it. But yes, that's a great tool. I would like to see it implemented. As a matter of fact, I hope they do.
The consensus right now within the GDO system about the new superintendent is the fact that she is not listening to the people that are actually in the front lines. They are making decisions, not even discussing with the individual schools. They're making decisions between 2 or 3 people are making decisions for schools to come together or whatever they're doing. But these decisions that are being made with the current leadership, this is just what I'm hearing from the ground level folks saying that we've never had an opportunity to express what we think is right for our school. And these decisions are being made by 2 or 3 people within that little, circle of trust. And this is the issue that we run into with a lot of the different agencies.
Well, just remember, there's also a board.
And the board.
There's the Board of Education, and they don't always see eye to eye. And historically, there has been marked division between the board and their recommendations and their desires. And the superintendent of education.
So to be fair, I don't know that to be true. What I do know is when they first came on board, I actually ran into the deputies at maybe 2 different occasions. They were going into the field, maybe because they were new, I don't know. But if the communication is broken somewhere, I don't know that. I'm not in their business on a daily basis.
I think it is.
But I can also tell you other things, what the department can do to operate a little more efficiently, right? So if I have the privilege of being elected, I like to make a bold statement and put it out there that 1/3 of all non-essential teaching services need to be outsourced right off the bat. And that's not to, again, it's not taking anything away from the administrative support services that exist. What I am proposing is that those not central to teaching and learning, and now this is coming from an educator, a practicing educator as well, okay? If it's not central, outsource it, because you can unilaterally terminate for cause when the service is not being provided in a way that satisfies you. We outsource a lot of our services. We use contractuals in the charter school system, and it served us well. Now, maybe I'll get pinched in the audit because I didn't go out and wait and have 3 quotes or RFP it properly, but under a certain amount, I can do certain things. I can get my grass cut for a certain amount of money. I can insource things and add additional compensation because I have that latitude. But what happens when people lose zeal? When they feel that they can't operate or don't have to operate? They don't have to operate. I was there. I was a classified employee. Okay, so when you feel you don't have to operate, this classification system works for a reason. Certain union agreements and provisions of those agreements are designed to protect the employee from being abused. But what about the employee who doesn't take the initiative to do the right thing? Now, this is not specific to DOE. This is everywhere, throughout the government and even in the private sector. The difference is how we deal with it, Jeff. You know that, you're private sector people. In the charters, it's like that. We're looking for that kind of employee who takes the initiative to be there for your kids on a paddling day. Yes, we don't pay you to go to a meet, or we'd be bankrupt to go to a basketball game or a paddling meet. But those who do, we love you more because the kids depend on that moral support. And I want to touch a little bit about hardening your telecommunications infrastructure. This was a great lesson as a principal that I'm going to push for the hardening of schools. Forgive me if I don't touch it in the home front, okay? I have a different opinion on some of that. But hardening the schools should be essential because second from their home, where do families congregate? Who do you rely upon? You rely upon the school. I opened my school as soon as it was safe. I didn't have island power. God was great, and the teams that put power together in the greater Hoggett area, thank you, and God bless you, GPA and the mayor of Hoggett and the vice mayor. But we were prepared to conduct business operations without island power. which means we were able to open the windows and the doors like we did when I was in middle school. And when I went to public school all my life, notwithstanding, I don't know who was commenting that I may have been raised with privilege, but we can even define that further. I don't know, you're smooth and all this was off-camera stuff, right? My gosh, and they didn't tell you. Anyway, so I'm the son of by the way, as an aside, I'm the son of a customs officer and a full-time homemaker. I grew up in a low middle-class family, and we were happy and we're doing fine, and my kids are doing great, thanks to my parents upbringing in a very conservative family home with traditional Sumo values. But back to my point, we can learn with the doors open and the windows open within reason. And I even extended the privilege for the kids to stay home with the parental consent or guardian consent if you are uncomfortable. But learning must continue regardless of where you're at.
And now, looking at the 39th, and once you get elected, it's a drastic change, right? I mean, almost, if you look at everybody's almost getting wiped out of the 38th, right? I mean,
it's flushing sound.
So I mean, you do come with a background, right? And you've been in leadership positions within government. You've also been a chief of staff. I mean, you've seen both ends, from a policy, from receiving the hits, frontline, executing. But now, I mean, going into a potential 39th where a lot of the folks are going to be fresh new faces. Are you excited about that?
I am. I'm excited at the prospect of us serving in a Republican majority. I was the minority caucus leader in the Republican minority. And I'm also looking forward to the opportunity to bring my voice to the table regardless of partisan affiliation. When I was a freshman senator, I made every attempt to be as diplomatic and as much of a statesman as practical. And my experience as chief of staff, you talk about hardening, that hardened me to the max. And you can go ahead and prod about that, so I'm sure it's coming. But I'm going into the legislature with a firm voice about education, about persons with disabilities, about the revitalization of my Chmal language and culture, and the Manamko, youth recreation and sports. I'll give you one for recreation and sports. I want to mainstream traditional sports like paddling, which is already part of high school interscholastic. What about slinging and fishing? And what about certain types of grappling that has been evidenced? I don't know enough about that to speak intelligently about it, but paddling, slinging, and fishing, just as important as American football and European soccer. That's on my agenda for change.
One suggestion for you, you were talking about hardening the schools, and it's almost every day a pump will go south with GWA near a school, and we'll get an announcement that says the kids are being let out early. Years ago, there used to be a thing where the schools had water tanks. So when the pumps stopped, they could still flush, they could still wash their hands. They didn't have to shut the schools down. And I think that's something that we should revisit.
It's a big one, really.
That's a
because
great
that happens
idea.
all the time. We got to let the kids out. Well, there's nobody to watch them. You're going to let them out. Put everybody at inconvenience.
And to be frank, many of these kids would rather be at schools anyway because of the socialization. It's just as important as textbook studying, right? Or access to online material. So Red, that wasn't even on the agenda necessarily, but I'll put it in there. I think what he's talking about are water cisterns, where you catch water catchment systems in some jurisdictions, Puerto Rico, American Samoa. They still practice that, and it's a great alternative source of water, clean water, as a matter of fact, even for non-potable use, like flushing the toilets and washing your hands. But we always should have access, as we do at our school, to filtered drinking water if that's your preference, and/or filtered water in times of distress or disaster preparedness. So that's a great contribution. It's not intentionally left it out. It just wasn't.
No, it's Wally Tranowski, the late Wally Tranowski at Tanks a Lot. I think he was one of the guys that would build these kind of what's the word, boilerplate. Here's the tank, and here's the water lines that come into it, and here's the water lines that go out, and there's a little pump mechanism that runs, if it's got electricity. And they over at Carbolito, where I used to live, they had a big couple of tanks there.
Yeah, so that's some of the things. I have a couple more though, and this is to provide relief to families in the private school systems as well. Having come from Father Duenas and seeing my father almost pull me out because he didn't have enough overtime to pay the tuition, we understand the struggle, because there's this fallacy of thinking, this misconception, this disinformation that private school kids are privileged kids. I don't necessarily agree with that. I've taught at St. John's. I'm a Father Duenas private school graduate. But we struggled. My father struggled for that. I had to sell my car when I was an elected official at the time, making only $55,000, so that I could pay my son's tuition and fees to get his actual diploma on his graduation day. And here's what I would like to do. I'd like to see a $2,000 tax credit. Now, we're not cutting checks to families, but if you have a liability to the government, I'd like to see $2,000 or 25% of your tuition, but not to exceed $2,000 or $2,500, be taken against that liability. Because what you did effectively when you sent your kid to Father Duenas or to St. John's or Harvest or maybe even homeschool as well, you took yourself off the dependency of this government to provide all those basic services, didn't you? You still got to give your piece so that society can carry on. There is a role for state education, but it's not the only role. I refuse to accept that. And I refuse to let parents continue to suffer and carry the bane of people thinking that because you send your kid to Father Duenas, that's you elect to do that, and so you forfeit your $13,500 to the people. No. I would love to see a tax credit. I also want to introduce a bill that doesn't exist in this fashion, where you get a dollar for dollar credit up to a certain amount if you donate to the schools. Not to DOE or the foundation, to the school directly. And by the way, teachers, educators, defined loosely right now as principals, administrators, teachers in the classrooms, and or certain types of aides. Another $2,000 tax reprieve, because we spend a lot of money, believe it or not, for those kids who can't eat. We know who they are. Or we buy our own chalk. Yeah, we still use some chalk. We used to use some dry erase board markers. We still paint our own schools. And so a tax rebate to those companies that you were referring to as.
I totally agree with you, because I went to GW, graduated many years ago, but I have sent my children and all my grandchildren to either Notre Dame or Father Duenas, and still I'm paying tax for education. It's that way back, it was like $8,000 a year is what they said we're paying for public education, right?
Oh, but they get to use the school bus. They get to use the Guam school bus.
That's so nice, those beautiful buses.
And that's another thing. SPED, Special Education Services, first of all, they try their best to do their best. No taking away from them. But there's certain bureaucratic hurdles that they have to overcome to even make it to my classroom. There are many challenges. I'll give you one. When the SPED buses went down, my deaf and hard of hearing students couldn't be transported from home to the bus station to my school because I don't know what happened to the van or the bus. What I do know is for almost 2 weeks they couldn't be transported. So guess what our teachers did? And I'm sure we probably broke a regulation because we shouldn't be transporting our kids. We said, to hell with that. Thankfully, the Deaf, Hard of Hearing Academy teachers and interpreters went out and picked up their kids. And I provided gas stipend. We provide gas cards on occasion.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's the least we can do. $20 is nothing these days. But they love their kids enough that they go pick them up. I want to replicate, I want to create our own. We're going to pilot our own charter school system. By the way, busing system. Special shout out to all the charter schools. We're now self-organizing to form an advocacy group so we can petition the United States government through grants and other federal forms of financial assistance that are competitive in nature as well, because nobody's doing it for us here. And that's not to take away from DOE or the clearinghouse, because I'm sure they're trying their best to do good things for the students. But there's a special fund for charter schools that haven't been tapped to the fullest, and we have every intention to take full advantage of that starting this June. We're going to go to the United States Department of Education Office of Secretary of Education to introduce ourselves and let them know who we are and that we're applying and we're going to compete.
Quick question. We've recently added to the capabilities of charter schools. I think they've added another 2 slots for charter schools on Guam. Should we just permanently lift the cap? And if there's enough interest in the special vocation and situations that we can educate our kids in differently, should we have more charter schools?
Ideally, yes. If all pistons were firing, I think what needs to happen so we don't become the victim of our own successes is we need to have that holistic approach to education, to sit down at the table and find out which schools are doing what well and what's failing, because we don't want to be that monolithic entity that doesn't report or that has gaps that we're not tracking. So no, and also, by the way, I think it has to be a lot more deliberate, Ray. I don't think people can just kind of shoot from the hip, and not that they're doing it, but we need to have healthy debates on the types of charters that come into the system. I'm not advocating for a monopolistic approach, like because we're career tech, we should have a monopoly on construction and this and that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can only have so many at the same time in the same space before you start cannibalizing yourself in other schools. Now, yes, I'm a believer in the market system. You go to the best possible school, but you got to do it in a way that doesn't shock the hell out of DOE, because what do you do with the classified people overnight? We're talking overnight tectonic shifts. You lose 200 teachers right now in DOE, they've got bigger problems. And I think we can handle the timing of the change. I'm not saying no, I'm saying let's be methodical and thoughtful about it. Yeah.
So clearly, folks, there's a lot
Be a
to be
fun
said,
debate.
and some really good people saying it. Like, share, and subscribe to the diaspora out there in the mainland United States of America. These are the people that are running your island. These are the folks that are caring about how the community is doing post Typhoon Sinlaku. And if we could, we're running up against the clock. I mean, it's an artificial one. If you want more of this, come down to the restaurant, and we'll continue the conversation. But before Senator Castro has to go out there and probably cut the grass down at the charter school.
That's not far from the truth.
No, I know it's not. So this guy literally walks the walk. You know, he doesn't just talk this good. If you're wondering how to get your kids to be able to be this eloquent, to be this presentable in public, have them join the Youth Congress, because I think he might have been a Youth Congress guy.
There you go. See, I told you he had these misconceptions, and that's different. No, I wasn't a youth. I wish
Well,
I
you're wearing
had.
shiny shoes.
I'm still paying for them. I'm hoping to return them before 12 back to Macy's so I get my money back.
Oh, that's what my wife does.
Right? I just bought it for the moment. No, yeah, actually, no, I didn't. I wasn't in youth Congress. The closest I got
Did
it.
you get elected? That's okay. It's okay. Yeah,
I've lost 2 elections, and that wasn't one of them.
Okay, but anyway, he took the place of our original guest, which is the Vice Speaker of the Youth Congress. So shout out to Trevin. Thanks for.
Thank you for making room for me.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, you know, when he grows up, he wants to be just like you. Trevin's going to bring in the youth voice, because our producer says, you know, we got too many old guys on the show, and we're going to do better. But I think you're pretty good, right? So can we just make one maybe, because you're sunshine, like I said. But you are also Saipan, right?
Go for it.
More than most people, you understand the pain and suffering going on in that community, which,
Sure.
as tough as the things are for us here in business, I mean, let's face it, we are way better than, the economy on Guam is way better than the one in Saipan, which just got flattened. And so they're going through their own motions to recover, and Will knows more about it than most of us in studio, just because he was intimately involved with the government.
Sure.
That being said, you know, typhoons teach us how to be homeless, right? We all prepare for our roofs potentially to fail, or our buildings. We act like something terrible is going to happen, and then usually it doesn't. But it's only because of the hard work of everybody at home. But there are some times when either nature or just bad fortune comes upon our families, and we lose everything, right? And in Saipan, many people have lost everything. And even here, we had over 700 people. You know, a lot of families had to seek shelter because their homes weren't safe. There's a lot of homeless people on Guam. There's a lot of folks, a lot of kids who don't have parents because their parents are in jail. Just a lot of suffering, right? A lot of things that you. And so there's the idea that then there's the have-nots and the haves. And a lot of people running for office are being labeled with this. You know, you've had it easy. Jeff makes it really clear that he didn't have it easy from the day he arrived on Guam with one leg, because he had broken his leg. So Jeff's never had it easy, even when he was getting beat up at the bus stop in Agate or Santa Rita, wherever the hell he was going to school. But this young man who everybody's impressed with now, and vote for Will Castro for senator.
Hey, you know what's going to happen if they vote for Will?
They can't vote for
Can't
you.
vote for
They
you.
can't vote for me.
Vote for me in the general election.
Yeah, let's go to the general election that
Don't
fast,
contaminate
you
it.
know.
Yeah.
One choice.
Don't.
You know, this is the
Charlie and me.
Yeah, so you guys look it up in the election commission, but going back to Will, can you speak to being homeless?
Yeah, well, thanks. So, I don't know if I should be thankful for the opportunity, but thank you for drawing attention to the realities of our lives. So, as I mentioned, I'm the son of a customs officer and a full-time homemaker. I grew up in a wooden tin home. In the outside, if you lived in Barragata and passed by my house, it looks cement, but that's what you call a cement facade, right? When you use the screen and they put the plaster. But when the house burned down after 16 and a half years that my father built with his bare hands, I experienced what it was like to be homeless for quite a bit. And it was during the strings of the 5 super typhoons, right out of FD. I started out in as accounting major, and I went to the leadership at the time, and I said, hey, I just lost my house. My father's he's not holding it together right now. Is there anything you can do to provide financial assistance? And believe it or not, I got this cold response. We just don't have programs for people like you. And I think that kind of pissed me off and forced me into public advocacy. And I started a student organization called E40, and with the sole purpose of providing general assistance and humanitarian aid to people like me, but for programs that didn't exist for people like me. And so when I was teaching and when I was a senator, I was very sensitive to home fires because people are so comfortable in their lives that you can drive right by a plume of smoke and not think twice that an entire family has been wiped out. We lost almost everything. I don't have a single photo of me since childhood after high school. And so the trauma associated with that really develops character. And I'm not asking for you to hear me so that you can give me your pity, more than it would shed a different perspective on how you may see me as a person, and not coming from a theoretical, very articulate, theoretical background on what it might be to suffer. Every one of us has gone through some type of suffering. That was just one of those things. And government services.
No, but I was sending you up. I hate to break it to you. This.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm
waiting for it.
So you also were the governor's appointee to the Guam Hospital when it was in a state of emergency, right?
Sure.
So they send you down there with great fanfare, and you were going to go fix their economics, which, by the way, I mean, their skilled nursing unit is a mess, money loser. Only half of it servicing the Manamku, the people you love. But more to the point, at that point, there was calls for that place to go under federal receivership.
Sure.
So you and a board appointed, I think, by Governor Eddie Calvo, was that right?
Yes.
Yeah, Governor Calvo sent you down there, and then you arrived into a building that did not meet local fire code.
Sure.
It essentially was a fire trap. And if the babies in Guam were born into a fire trap and that place went on fire, which it has now gone on fire 4 times, Senator Castro, since Mawa.
Sure.
During the last big storm, it had 2 fires right beneath the Obi Ward. So, sir, you as a home fire survivor, can you say something that can make me feel better about the fact that Governor Lulian Guro and Josh Noyo perpetuate the fire trap, which is the Guam Memorial Hospital? Can you speak to me as a citizen? How am I supposed to feel? What can I do so that I can wake up tomorrow morning feeling better?
I'm hoping the next crop of legislators have the fortitude to move forward on the existing footprint. Dr. Akimoto's correct. I was appointed by Governor Calvo to serve as an outside person looking in and come up with a corrective action plan that would help address some of the issues facing GMH at the time. The prevailing issue at the time was the perennial $23.5 million of liabilities or cash shortfall. And there are many reasons for that. We can have a whole show on that. And I'm not an expert, but I can share what little I learned just as a layperson. What I can assure the people of Guam is that there's a strategic plan. There are multiple master plans from administrations past. And I think the one that the hospital had at the time was a good one. It was a good one to adopt solar. It was a good one to develop the property across the hospital into a multi-level parking with solar so that there'll be sufficient parking. But the most important part to me was the demolition of the Z-Wing and the reconstruction of this building called the Z-Wing. And to the common folk like me, what that meant was you can literally go across a line, in this case a corridor, into a building that was designated to provide specialized medical services. Now, why is that important? It's important because the Medicaid, Medicare system, the way it operates is you can only have so much money be reimbursed by the federal government in emergency care, right? And then you literally have to check them out and do an outpatient service intake. Forgive me if I'm getting this all wrong, but let me just recap this from a lay person's perspective. Literally going from this bed, hospital bed, emergency, to the next room to get specialized care so that you can continue to receive a reimbursement rate of so much from the federal government. But as a community, as a government, we didn't do that. And so we're forfilling tens of millions, in my opinion, as Medicaid. Am I wrong?
No, this is where we're always going to disagree, right?
Okay,
because you're
that's
so
fine.
smart and you're apparently an accounting major, so that's brilliant.
Almost.
I'm sure our
I'm a
investors
teacher.
love what you just said.
I'm a teacher.
But, okay, you're a teacher now. But the thing is, dude, the place is a fire trap.
I
Keep
agree.
walking by the fire, just like you said.
I agree.
All the villagers in Barragata, they're just walking around, right? Meanwhile, your house is on fire.
Sure.
The fucking hospital's on fire, buddy. And every single stinking senator and governor since Governor Calvo, has ignored the life safety code. The only person who got it right was Felix Camacho and Mike Cruz, and they got Joint Commission accreditation. Supposedly that made us better. But the point is, we're living the nightmare now, and I appreciate what you did. The board does it every 4 weeks when they have their meetings. They talk about everything about fixing the fucking electrical panel.
Oh, man.
Help me out.
Yeah, I'm sure management can do that without senatorial approval. Declaration of
They're running
emergency and
another
do an
budget.
emergency
You know
procurement.
what the budget is now that they're asking for? $310 fucking million.
No, that's for the new medical complex, right?
No. That's for the operational budget of the
Oh,
current
no.
piece of shit hospital that the government of Guam put all the pregnant ladies and the sick babies in during the typhoon. They said, come to our fire trap. Put your families here. We'll take care of you. And so you know what Dr. Ed Blount did when he came off his shift right in the middle of the storm? He said, I'm going home to take care of my family. And then they made him feel like a piece of shit.
Wow.
GMH and the government of Guam has a real problem, and I'm sorry, I mean, because if we keep talking about all these other things but not fixing the basics, then Ray can't go on the air. Because if he talks about the fact that, you know, his red pen doesn't work or his blue pen doesn't work, the tower in Menengan won't be functional. You got to do the hard things first.
But the hard thing is a reduction in force,
Yes.
and find the people that aren't.
Or people do their job, right? You know, and the thing is, when they don't do their job, you can't pat them on the back and say, hey, you know what, why don't you take a trainer course? I'll send you off island.
I mean, how many reports have come back and said that one of the things it needs to do is anybody that's not directly involved in patient care needs to go find someplace else to work.
I'm mad at every fucking
No. We spent $1 million. We spent $1 million to add 39 parking spaces. We could have eliminated 39 people.
Two old Filipino dudes who work like every other day for 4 hours and then they get heat stroke. That thing's taking a year to build the parking lot that doesn't look anything like the one you designed.
Charlie and I could have knocked that out in a weekend.
Oh yeah.
Dude, and just get the Home Depot people over there.
And the panel, the panel.
Yeah, that's right. You spent $5 million on the plan.
And we did a study that was completely free. You know,
At UOG.
At UOG, my master's class, my students,
Yeah, the
we
original
prepared over a 100-page report.
Governor Liu, you
And-
suck.
and-
You know, the thing
and there
is,
was-
all the solutions are here. You suck. You suck.
And you know, it outlines all the things that need to happen, but it's the execution. I mean, how long are we going to talk about this panel? And it's really unfortunate because it's going to take something really
It's
horrific
already
to
happened
happen.
4 times. There have been 4 fires, Charlie.
Yeah.
The last typhoon, the nurse came outside crying, and it was Jane Forrest's daughter.
Since
You know,
2018.
you know, that's the thing. We have so, it is a, I like it though, because every show, I get to say, fuck you.
Hey, that's 12.
And it is past
Keeping
12.
track at home?
I have a lunch day. You know, everything about this show is setting new records, including the time that we're going to finally sign off. So maybe, are we going to still dance? Or are we going to play the game? We might have to
There's a
cut some
game?
of that out.
Yes.
There's
But
a
I think
game?
we should dance, because these 2 guys can dance.
There's a
Okay,
game.
We'll go to play the game, and we'll be just brief, and then we'll go to, does your dance?
No. He's just here for the hamburger.
Okay.
The Wagyu burger.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna play the game, and for those of you,
Sorry, buddy.
No, don't. That's fine.
You're going to have to dance.
Oh,
Next to
okay.
Charlie, who is our best dancer, and so you should.
I don't wear funny hats or dance.
that's mine.
Did you notice I'm wearing one here?
I noticed, yes, thank you. You look good in that.
Thank you very much.
I want you to wear that on the
Hey,
air all the
thanks,
time
buddy.
when I'm watching you.
Okay, so for everyone who is listening on
Still
internet
listening.
land, you can go to hafahour.com to play the +1 and -1 game. The whole point of this entire game is to give any candidate, whether you're a gubernatorial candidate or a senatorial candidate or you're running for Board of Education, the point is to give a +1 or -1 every week based on performance. Everyone here on this panel will choose a +1 person, just one candidate, and a -1, and explain why you've chosen that person for the week, so that Guam can understand why it's important to vote and how to think about the voting process.
So wait a minute, did you just open it up to everything, so we don't have to just stick with the gubernatorial?
No, but we're still sticking with the
Okay, so we're still gonna do the
gubernatorial.
gubernatorial until we get.
Where's the pictures of the candidates?
Well, I think we're running out of time, so we'll just say it,
Okay,
you know,
so
people can
you-
imagine your face, right? So
Yes.
Jeff, you wanna go first?
Okay, I'm gonna give my +1 to me and Charlie because we're happy to serve you and we want your vote. And I've had so many people come here and tell me they are so tired of politics on Guam. They are so pleased we're running. And I told them, I said, you know, you can only vote for us. You can't vote for senators, even though I really like you, Will. Now I want to vote for you, you know, but I can't, okay?
He's got my -1.
So you get one choice, make it me and Charlie. And my -1 is for Josh and Lou for allowing things to get to the point that me and Charlie have to run, try to make things better for the people of Guam.
That is a shame, yeah.
Maybe
so I'm going to give my +1 to Charlie and Jeff because Charlie gives me free beer over at Beans and Barrels, and Jeff gives me free burgers and fries over here at Pirates Cove, and I'm hoping for some kind of a subsidy once they are elected governor and lieutenant governor. And likewise, this town has gone backwards. We're headed in the wrong direction on Guam, and frankly, for all the money that is paid in taxes and all the people that call Guam home, we deserve much better. And so since Lou and Josh are the ones that are in there, even though it's Josh and Tina that are running, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give you a -1 on this because you could have been part of the most productive years in the history of Guam. All 3 branches of government were run by Democrat women. This should have been the most productive time in my life, and it didn't turn out that way. We went backwards, so it is what it is.
All right, this one I'm gonna have to split, obviously for myself and Jeff, but we do have to give some credit for Therese and Savina. They were able to get all the signatures within in a matter of days. So whether they were planning ahead of time and not let us know that they were gonna run. So you did a great job on getting everything done within the allotted time that you had. So that's +1. My negative still goes on to Senator Joe. Again, nothing has come out on the minimum wage and what he wants to do with that, and he has proposed several bills, but still waiting for more information because I don't think that proposing the bill was the right thing to do.
Unnecessary.
My turn?
Yes, sir.
My +1 goes out to the elected officials and leaders who went to at least one interscholastic sport game, whether it was paddling or beach volleyball or pickleball. I have several examples. Senator Tony, thank you for going to pickleball. That was great to see you. Someone sent me a picture. My -1 is to all the politicians who talk a lot of game, who haven't stepped foot on the court, not once, to watch our kids or my kids perform in front of their parents and the entire community, making a difference for themselves. So to all the politicians who talk big game but haven't been to one interscholastic sport, shame on you.
My -1 is to Lou and Josh. I mean, this is your second super typhoon, and this was a banana typhoon. The real damage happened to our neighbors to the north, and thank you for at least offering to help them. Now, do better than what you do here, because a lot of times you promise us the moon and you give us nothing. So if you're going to go down to Saipan and bless them with your platitudes, you also need to help them out. And we already see other candidates doing that. I haven't heard anything about Josh and Tina or Joe San Augustine and Santa Claus bringing any relief to the people of Saipan and the CNMI. So we hope that Josh and Lou will find a different way to be productive in the last couple of months of their term. My +1 is to Jeff and Charlie. I mean, these guys are really working hard, and they're really putting their entire lives and their careers on the line. They've opened up their stores for you to come down and meet with them, find out why they seriously are doing this. This is not an April Fool's joke. We are definitely supporting an independent gubernatorial team that will do a lot of the things that Lou and Josh said they couldn't do, wouldn't do, haven't done. So if you think Jeff is just a pretty face, this dude has some really big ideas on how to run the government of Guam. And if Jesse Ventura can do it in Minnesota, if Arnold Schwarzenegger can do it in California, then I think Jeff Pleadwell, Charlie Hermosa definitely can do it in the territory of Guam. And I'm pretty sure Donald Trump's going to support what they're doing.
Well, he likes pirates now,
Yes, right. It's part of the pirate nation. He's been called a pirate by the Iranians. We are legion.
Okay, the biggest question on everyone's mind. Have you guys all heard the song? And are you ready to dance?
Any important comments, though?
I haven't heard the song.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Yes, thank you. We have Katrina.
Hi, Katrina.
She says, she said no to Will Castro. I think Will Castro has some bad baggage. Let's not be misogynistic.
That girl from Saipan?
Yeah.
Sorry, Will.
Sorry, Will.
No, we try to tell him not to watch.
We put it, it's transparent.
That's okay.
And actually, Katrina would be the best person for you to talk to.
Absolutely.
No, sometimes it's better just to...
No,
she doesn't really want you to talk. She just wants a hug.
Okay, and then
need a lecture.
we actually have a lot of people in the comments. They were actually going, Steve Lozama said, all of it, or Steve Amagwin said all of it, and they should stop using our schools as shelters, build an enclosed gymnasium, possibly equivalent to a fallout shelter, and can be used as shelters during the storm. We also had Johnny Utah back and forth talking about the actual event live at the presidential shooting. So there's a lot of actual comments in the feed. So.
All right, pay attention. Go online, right? We've got several platforms where people can interact, and then throughout the week we're having important shows. The Pirate Nation is live, and throughout this campaign we will be in your face, and we want to hear your voice about what matters to you in our territory.
Yes, and whoever wants to help join the Pirate Nation, we don't care where you sit or who you support. You can fill out that form, scan the code, and if you saw someone on this panel today that you really resonate with, reach out to them. They're all open. They will get back to you. And don't forget to come down today.
Yes.
Yes.
What's happening today, Jeff?
Well, I don't even know what time it is. She took my phone.
It's almost
Anytime,
Almost
1 to 3. I mean, we're gonna sign petitions, and if you come down, I'll buy you a burger. I didn't put on a buffet today because, you know, I just like to take care of you personally.
All right.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna play Dance You Out. You ready to dance, everybody?
Dance monkeys.
So are we starting up a dance?
This entire place. Yeah.
Was this a theme song?
Okay, clearly, you won't show up to any show, even if you didn't watch what we do. But that's okay, well.
There we go.
You're gonna have your own damn show.
Welcome to Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Oh, for a die Guam, yeah, that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey P. will keep the compass true. Andrea on the map. One direction coming through. Things with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. How good to man. Everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered.
Keep dancing.
Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it up. One source for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They go to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo, Ada Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. I got ya to 2 months, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise.
Right on.
On the mic? No.
So those out there, this here by Willing Zaku para todos estamos unaihan su ánimo, right?
Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies preach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief got out and Matapang strength we carry us arena in the tight scene. Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa Hour, Guam.
So what does it say happened? A teacher shot at the president?
There's a press guy, yeah. Press dinner. I did last Friday. Last Friday.
I don't know, still don't know.
Wait.
Wait, you know what? Oh, forgot to mention, Will's having a fundraiser as well.
Oh, yeah. What is it? Oh, man, if you've never been to Las Vegas, go May 7th, 6 p.m. It's only $10.
Where is it?
Las Vegas.
In Nevada?
It's a karaoke bar.
In Anigua?
In Anigua.
Okay,
and it's only $10. And my friend said, why only $10? I've been out of circulation for so long. I need to have a friend reason. So come on out.
You can buy a gallon of diesel.
So when is that?
May 7th, that would be a Thursday.
And how do they
Evening.
send you a message?
Just come on down. Yeah, you can message us on Instagram or on Instagram at Bring Will Back. Will Castro for Senator.
Okay.
Thank you.
Where there's a will,
There's a way.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is that a...
That was the older one, yeah.
Oh.
Or tell it to tell it.
Everybody, can you tell them to come down
No.
today?
Everybody come to Pirates Cove.
Yes, enjoy good food, good conversations, and good drinks.
On the beach.
Oh, yes.
Buy Don Farrell's books.
Yeah, yes.
And Clever Pirates Cove's hats.
That was fun. That was a hot show.
Great show. Thank you for coming.
That was hot going out. Earlier, you missed out. Crazy. That was
Shake
fun.
hands.
It's a great platform.
Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Over a die Guam. Hear that I come alive from just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Clap, clap. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya to man, everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it unfiltered. Guam sauce for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to month, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies bridge when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Hafa Hour, Guam. Welcome to Hafa Hour.